And the most successful firms, they've already got this figured out. They're encouraging their professionals to build their own personal brands under the firm's umbrella. Because when their people are visible, when they are trusted, and when they are recognized, it reflects well on the entire organization. And it ultimately brings in new business. I'm Sylvia Garibaldi, founder and CEO of a well-established marketing training and done-for-you services company, tailored specifically for the modern legal and financial professional worldwide. While it's taken some trial and error to figure out which methods get the best results for professionals who are looking to grow their practices, fast forward to today, my team and I have nailed down and perfected a process that has helped so many of our clients consistently achieve outstanding results and create a legacy for their practices. I created the Serve First, Sell Later marketing podcast to give you simple, actionable, non-salesy, and results-driven marketing to grow your legal or financial practice like so many of our clients have. If you're a lawyer, mediator, financial, or divorce professional who is looking to become highly visible and wants to create a practice that makes an impact, then you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 101 of the Serve First, Sell Later marketing podcast. I'm your host, Sylvia Garibaldi. So what if the most valuable thing you own in your entire career isn't your job title, your firm name, or even your credentials, but actually your personal brand? Now, before you roll your eyes and think, oh, great, another marketing buzzword, I want you to stay with me on this one because this one really matters. Whether you work inside a large firm or run your own solo practice, your personal brand is the thing that follows you everywhere you go. It's your professional reputation, and it's what opens doors long after business cards and titles change. And here's what I know. Clients don't just hire a firm anymore, they hire you. They're Googling your name, they're checking your rating, they're checking your LinkedIn profile, seeing if you've shared insights that feel relevant or human or helpful. They're checking out all your different social media platforms. And based on that impression, that first impression, they decide if you're worth reaching out to. And that's why I wanted to dedicate this episode to a conversation that's often overlooked in the legal space, which is how to build a personal brand that travels with you and one that gives you credibility, career insurance, and long-term opportunity no matter where you work. Because whether you're an associate working your way up or a partner mentoring the next generation, your name, your ideas, and your reputation are your business. So today we're going to be breaking down why your personal brand matters, what the data actually says about visibility in the industry, and how you can start building yours in small, practical ways, even if you're not a marketing person. Okay, so let's dive in. So I want to start with something that I hear often, and that's something that goes along the lines of, I don't really need a personal brand because my firm already has one. And so here's what's true. Your firm might have a strong brand. Maybe it's been around for years, and maybe it's got a fantastic reputation in your community. But here's what's also true. Clients don't build relationships with firms. They build relationships with people. So when someone recommends you, they don't say, call Smith and Associates. They're really great. What they're actually going to say is, hey, call Alex. She really listened. Or talk to David. He made things so much easier for me. So you see the difference? The firm gives you a platform, but you give people a reason to trust. And so your name, how you show up, how you communicate, how you help people feel seen and understood, the results that you get, all those things stick because that's your brand. And it's not about being flashy or constantly posting online, but it's more about the quiet consistency of showing up as the same thoughtful, credible professional, whether someone meets you in a courtroom, at a networking event, or through your social media. Because when you build that kind of personal reputation, opportunities start to follow you and not just the firm that you work for. And I think that that's really important because in today's world, Careers change, they evolve. People move firms, they switch practice areas, they even start their own businesses. And the only thing that truly goes with you is your name and the trust that you've built around that. So that's why your personal brand isn't a nice to have. It's really career insurance because it's what keeps your momentum steady no matter what changes around you. So I hope that's making sense. And I think the best part is you already have one. Your brand exists, whether you're building it intentionally or not. And that's the reality. It's just a matter of whether you want to define it or whether you want to let others do it for you. So, as we go deeper in this episode, I want you to keep this one question in mind. When people think of you professionally, what do you want them to say? Because that answer, that vision, that becomes the foundation of your brand. So, here's something that might surprise you, or maybe it won't. According to a 2024 ABA report, more than 70% of clients use online sources to evaluate a lawyer's credibility before ever picking up the phone. And another couple of studies, such as FindLaw Consumer Insights and one that Reuters did, found that people are more likely to contact a lawyer who shares expertise online through articles, social media, videos. In other words, people aren't just hiring based on firm names anymore. They're hiring based on you, what they see, what they hear, and how they feel when they come across your work online. And if I could be honest, what's the first thing we all do when someone recommends a professional? We Google them. That's instant. And if we can't find much, or what we do find looks dated, it plants a little doubt. And so that's what clients are doing too. They're not just checking where you work, they're checking to see if you seem approachable, knowledgeable, and human. And here's the key takeaway: visibility does build credibility. Okay. When people can see your thought leadership, whether it's a short post on LinkedIn, maybe a panel you spoke on, or even a podcast interview, it just gives them confidence that you know your stuff and you care about your work. And this doesn't just help with clients, it also helps in many other ways. So, another study from Reuters says that lawyers who maintain an active personal presence online are significantly more likely to be invited to speak at events, quoted in the media, or considered for leadership roles. So, if you've ever thought, I don't need to post much or my work speaks for itself, here's the thing: your work does speak, but in today's world, it needs a microphone because your online visibility is that microphone. It amplifies your expertise beyond your inner circle, and that is super important. It helps new opportunities. It creates collaborations, referrals, media features, because they can find you. And the most successful firms, they've already got this figured out. They're encouraging their professionals to build their own personal brands under the firm's umbrella. Because when their people are visible, when they are trusted, and when they are recognized, it reflects well on the entire organization. And it ultimately brings in new business. So the days of letting your firm's reputation do all the talking are over. Today, your clients are Googling you and not just your firm. So if you're listening to me speak and you're wondering, okay, this makes sense, but wouldn't this make me look like I'm competing with my own firm? And I understand what you're thinking here. I get it, because you don't want to step on any toes or look like you're trying to outshine the organization that you represent. But here's the truth: building your personal brand is not competition, it's contribution to the firm. Because when you show up online, you share insights, or you speak at an event, you're not taking attention away from your firm. You're actually adding credibility to it, and you are attracting more business. If you're an associate who's sharing thoughtful posts, or maybe you're being invited to speak on panels, it really makes your firm look like a place that attracts smart, engaged, forward-thinking professionals. And if you're a partner, it shows leadership, community presence, and of course, approachability. And so the firm's brand actually gives you structure and visibility. And your personal brand gives the firm authenticity and depth. And so I think it's a win win. So here's a simple way to think about this. Your firm brand says, here's what we do, and your personal brand says, here's how I help. The firm brand is corporate, your personal brand is human. And in an age where people want to connect with people, not faceless logos, this balance is very powerful. So if you've been holding back from posting or speaking because you're worried it might come across the wrong way, here's your permission slip. You can absolutely build your own brand while championing the firm's. So if you've been holding back from posting or speaking because you're worried it might come across the wrong way, here's your permission slip. You can absolutely build your own brand while championing the firm's. So start by finding topics that align with the firm's values, but still reflect your unique take. Maybe that's how you approach client relationships, or maybe some of the lessons you've learned through cases. Just think about the ways that your work is unique and highlight that. Because when you do that consistently, something magical happens. You become known not just as part of the firm, but as the person people think of first when they need help in your area. And the firm benefits too, because every time your name grows in credibility, so does theirs. It's not about competition, it's about collaboration. And the professionals who get this right are the ones who build the most sustainable careers. All right, if you've been listening and thinking, I'd love some guidance on how to build this out strategically, that's exactly what we do at SG and Associates. So we help professionals just like you, whether you're inside a firm or running your own practice, to map out a personal brand and visibility plan that builds authority, trust, and consistent opportunities. So book a free strategy call with me. You can find the link in the show notes. All right, so now let's talk about what's becoming more and more common, and that is some professionals are making a transition. So maybe you've been in law for years and you're starting to feel drawn toward dispute resolution, mediation, collaborative law. You want to keep helping people, but just in a different way. And here's where your personal brand becomes one of your greatest assets, because when you shift career directions, you're not starting from zero. You're simply evolving, and your brand is what helps people understand that evolution. And at SG and Associates, we have worked with different lawyers to help them do exactly this. So these are attorneys who are making a switch. They work for a large firm and now they want to make a switch to mediation, arbitration, collaborative law. So we've had a lot of experience in doing that. So I want to share with you what we're seeing that works. Because when you shift career directions, your brand tells your story. It connects the dots between where you've been and where you're going. So when colleagues or clients or referral partners see that you're making that move, they don't think, wow, that's a big change. They think, wow, that makes sense. That's who they've always been. So let me explain that. This is the power of a consistent personal brand because it bridges your past and your future. So it makes your message clear. For example, if your posts, your bio, and the way you talk about your work all reinforce themes like collaboration, understanding, resolution, then your transition from attorney to mediator doesn't feel like a big leap. It feels like a natural next step. So your audience starts to see you not just as a legal professional, but as someone who helps people move forward in healthier, more peaceful ways. And that's exactly what clients and referral partners need to hear. Because when you make a shift like this, your credibility and your network matter more than ever. And so you're asking people to see you in a new light, and your personal brand gives them the context and confidence to do just that. So I've seen many professionals, lawyers, financial experts, therapists make this transition successfully because they took the time to build visibility before they needed it. So they showed up, they shared insights, they built relationships, and they let people get to know their approach. So when the time came to say, hey, now I'm focusing in on mediation, arbitration, collaborative law, they already had an audience that trusted them and was ready to follow them into that new space. And that's why I often say your personal brand is your bridge because it connects who you were with who you are becoming. And when it's built intentionally, that bridge carries not just your message, but your momentum. All right, so let's make this a little bit more practical. You could be thinking, okay, I get this. Personal branding is important, but where do I even start? So don't worry, this doesn't have to be complicated or time consuming. I'm a huge believer in keeping things simple. We could make things very complex. We could get into technical terms, but I just want to keep things simple so that you will want to implement this. So, building your personal brand is really about being intentional with how you show up. So, I want to give you 3 simple steps that you can start doing this week. So, step number 1 is I want you to define what you want to be known for. And this is the foundation of your brand. So, ask yourself, when someone introduces me professionally, what do I want them to say? For example, do you want to be known as the lawyer who helps families resolve conflict with dignity? Or maybe the professional who simplifies complex financial issues in divorce? Or maybe the one who brings calm to high conflict situations in the workplace? Okay, so clarity here matters because if you don't define it, others will. And they might not describe you the way you want to be known. So I want you to spend some time to figure that out. And once you know that message, you can weave it into everything like your LinkedIn headline, your other social media platforms, how you introduce yourself at events, even how you describe your work in conversation, what you say when you're delivering presentations. So there's so many things that you can apply this to, and that's how you start shaping how people remember you. And I want you to keep this simple. Don't overthink it and just really try to think of the things that you want to be known for and maybe the things that people tell you that they really love about you most in the work that you do. Step number 2 is to show up consistently in small ways. You don't need to post daily or become a content machine. Just start with 1 or 2 visible actions each week. That could consist of commenting on a colleague's post. Maybe you are sharing an article via email to other people that you think could use your expertise, and you're adding a sentence or 2 about why it matters. Or maybe you write a short piece for your firm's blog or newsletter, right? One step at a time. One way to show up consistently. The key is consistency because this is what breeds familiarity and that's what builds trust because people start to associate you with your topic or approach simply because you show up around it consistently. So remember, it's better to show up imperfectly but consistently than perfectly but rarely. Okay, I think you see where I'm going with this. All right, step number 3 is say yes to visibility because visibility opportunities, they come in so many forms. It could be a guest on a show, you could have a speaking engagement, it could be a community event, it could be your own webinar or in-person event that you're hosting. Each one is a chance to reinforce your credibility and connect with new audiences. And here's the secret. You don't have to have everything perfectly figured out to say yes. Some of the most powerful brand moments happen when you just step up and share what you already know genuinely in your own voice. Because when people hear you speak or see your name attached to something of value, they start to think of you as the go to person in that area. So don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Start where you are right now. Every post, every talk, every conversation, each one adds another brick to the foundation of your personal brand. So here are the 3 steps. Define what you want to be known for, show up consistently, and say yes to visibility. And if you do just those 3 things over time, your brand will grow. And it will grow quietly, steadily, and authentically. And the best part is it will grow with you wherever your career takes you. Okay, so if there's one thing that I hope you take away from this episode, it's this. You don't have to wait for your firm, your title, or your next career move to define your reputation. You can start shaping it right now. Your personal brand isn't something separate from your work, it is your work. And it's how people experience you, remember you, and talk about you when you're not in the room. And I think the beauty of this is it actually travels with you. Okay, so if you move firms, you launch your own practice, your name, your reputation, your voice, all of that goes with you. So, if you've been thinking about building more visibility or being more intentional about your thought leadership, start small. As I said, write one post, maybe say yes to one speaking opportunity, or maybe reconnect with one person who already knows and trusts you. And that's how momentum builds. Not through big, flashy campaigns, but through small, consistent actions that align with who you are. And so, if you're listening and thinking, I'd really like to get some guidance on how to build this out strategically, that's exactly what we do here at SG and Associates. We help professionals, whether you're inside a firm or running your own practice, to map out a personal brand and visibility plan that builds authority, trust, and consistent opportunities. And we've done this many times over. So, if you're ready to take the next step, I'd love to connect. You can book a call with me. The link can be found in the show notes. And if we're not connected on LinkedIn, please reach out to me there by sending me a DM. I always love hearing how these episodes spark new ideas or new steps for your practice. Because at the end of the day, your brand isn't about self promotion, it's about service. It's about making it easier for people to find you, trust you, and say, that's exactly who I need. And in my opinion, that's the foundation of every thriving practice. So as you head into your week, remember this: whether you stay in your firm or run your own practice, your brand travels with you. Build it intentionally and protect it fiercely. And let it speak for you long before you walk into the room. Thanks so much for listening. If you found this episode helpful, I would be most appreciative if you share it with a colleague or a friend who's building their own momentum. And as always, keep serving first and watch those results follow. See you in the next episode.